Would you like to know how to create your future? I mean, the one you really want. If you haven't done it by now, you're probably thinking, how can I do it during these crazy challenges? Actually, what's happening out there, is the catalyst for you to go into an amazing space. Now, if you're one of my students, you probably know how to do all this, but we're going to simplify it today in one video so that you can focus on it. And yes, it is that simple to create it. It takes that attention. We're going to talk about that. Let's create your amazing future. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live an amazing life. Beautiful day out here. Life is amazing. What's going on out there? I don't know. My reality is whatever I focus on. Now, a lot of you are saying, yes, but these things are happening. Yes, they are happening. Now, here's what I want you to understand, and then we're going to go into exactly what you can do to get into that zone of the frequency and the reality that you desire. Because it really is simple, but all the other thoughts and the beliefs get in the way. So what's the first thing? We're a collective consciousness. We're one energy. We do not stand alone. We are an individual expression, but everything is interacting. We're entangled with everything. And then when you focus on something, I call it super entanglement. So you don't get away from that. So you don't say, well, I'm here and nothing else counts. Of course, everything else counts. You breathe air, you eat food, you have the sun, everything counts. Other people are a part of your energy field because we are not separate from it. Your own energy field, though, is your free will and your choice. So I want you to remember that, because that's what we're going to talk about today. Because we can all be in the same planet, and one person will go into the new earth and another one will not. And they will be equally convinced that that reality has shifted. One will think we're going in the crapper, and another one will think, oh, heaven on earth. Because I did a video, you can create heaven on earth. And then people say, well, what about this and that going on? And my answer to you is, when you go into the new earth and the higher frequency and you start to transition into, first of all, that stuff will fade out. We will not even experience it anymore. But there's a transition period that we've been going through of a higher and higher frequency. The whole planet's frequency is raised. NASA has documented this. It's raising the frequency. It sounds different. That's real stuff, and you're affected by that. Now, you can choose if you are in that higher frequency or not. So what's going to happen is, when these things happen that are very unpleasant and there's density still expressing itself in horrible ways, you now get to be the solution and the higher thought and the higher action that assists that. Through that, it's not about that, it's about you and your thoughts and reactions to that. So those of you who say, well, that's happening, my question is, what are you doing about it? And I've never had one person tell me that they were actually taking action. You just talk about it. So you're actually focusing on the negativity and you're actually fueling it. You're fueling it by doing that. And you're going into these horrible feelings because it is horrible stuff. We get to experience that here. These are all opportunities for you to go to a higher frequency by assisting, by adopting the animal that isn't loved, as opposed to going to a breeder. And somebody said that she got out of a industry that sells animals for testing. Can you imagine that? And she's not in that, and her colleague who took her job is making a ton of money. And I thought, that should be the last thought going through our head, right? What a horrible, horrible. As that person, now you can say, I was in that industry, I know what's going on. Educate people and rally to end it in a peaceful way. That's how the new earth interacts with the dense one. So it's not like, oh, I'm in my peaceful little, bubble here and nothing happens. What am I doing? I don't have to sit here and talk to you guys, right? I don't have to do any of this. But I'm doing it because I'm part of the movement of the new earth, and we are one unit, and we are here for one another. All right, so if you want to change your future, that focus must be on the solutions to the new earth. What would be the choice in the new earth? What's that future you want? Write it down. Now, no matter what's happening out there, the key to creating that future for yourself is to not allow that to dictate what you think and believe about it. So the worse it gets out there, most of you will say, oh, me being able to be wealthy or do this or travel or whatever is impossible now. You're allowing that to dictate your reality as opposed to creating your own reality and then allowing it to manifest out here, regardless of what's going on. You're actually going to work. More people have become millionaires and had opportunities in challenging times that they wouldn't have had if they were in the regular matrix. Everything's, going. These are amazing openings for you. So write down that future. What does it look like? What's it look like? Don't worry about this out here, because that's a focus on your future. That's a focus on the quantum field. What does that future look like for you? Write it down. Now take the action every day. I know people that have gone beyond the odds. I'm one of them, to create whatever I desired. I didn't allow others to tell me if it was possible or not. I stayed steadfast, and I did things that were a 1 in a billion shot. Now, something I want to give you is, those of you who are students or in this, there is a free webinar called Finding Opportunities Within a Crisis. It's an hour-and-a-half webinar. If you sign up here for that internet training workshop, that's free. You'll get this webinar right away. And my mentor in business, he talks about exactly how he beat all the odds. And how do you find opportunity in crisis? And this is how you create your new future. You do not see the crisis as your world. You see yourself as the catalyst for the change in the crisis. So when you say, if that future that you desire is a beautiful home, ask yourself how you can create it, and you stay steadfast on that. And as opportunities open up, you take them. This is how it works. And whatever's happening out there will actually facilitate that, because now we're not living in the same planet. Everything you focus on is creating your reality, and whatever happens in the world doesn't stop that from happening. So we can live in the same planet, and my future could be the most amazing one. In fact, I see 2021 is probably one of the most pivotal, amazing, expansive years. And I named it Critical Choice. You're going to have to make critical choices. You either stay in that matrix and you argue with each other, or you step into this new world and you say, I don't want to be that person anymore. So now you have to act and seek out the answers that will take you to where you want to be. I want you to get very excited, because your new future exists right now. That's a fact. Every probability does. Only you can choose it. So all you should be focused on is how to create it, and seek the answers, and stop thinking like the person who's in the situation you're in now, and not allowing fear to drive you. This will separate the new earth, the opportunities, the amazing things that are going to happen, the health and joy and abundance. And by the way, if somebody does get sick, it is not a reflection of a lower frequency. A lot of people say, well, we don't get sick. Yes, when we go to that super high state, we don't get sick. But as human beings, we still learn from these things. We still learn from crisis. So that's why you will experience some things going on out here. There's still opportunities for you to evolve. That's all they are. They're presenting a chance for you to become something great, instead of saying this is how the world is. This is how it works. So there's nothing wrong with things going wrong. There are always opportunities. Evolve, solve the issue, be the catalyst for the amazing new future. And your future now is going to look different, because then you realize everything that's going on I'm not expecting that to change because I'm part of the collective where the majority will be choosing denser, they're going to make denser decisions, right? Most people will not go. Everybody can, but most people will not go. They're just not ready for it. They love the ego. They love to argue. They love to be right. You know, they love fighting for material things. They love to prepare for the worst. Well, you're projecting the worst when you do that. Nothing can ever harm you. What is the future you want? Write it down, and then you start taking action today, not waiting for that world to do it for you, because 2021 is going to open great doors for abundance, for health. A lot of people are starting to take care of themselves now because they realize it is really important for us to make higher choice in every area of your life. So every single day, I want you to see the future, the one you desire. And no matter what situation you're in, you're going to now start taking action every day, and you'll be the problem solver. How do I solve this problem? Is it a problem for me? What do I learn from it? How do I change this reality? I see it differently. Things are not going the way I like. I have not mastered this. I must solve this issue in my life so that I can become the new person. I will no longer see it the same way. I will no longer blame people or be a victim. I will no longer think that I can't be that. You are great. Everybody has equal opportunity. I don't want to hear any disadvantages or sob stories anymore. I'm sorry. And by the way, you guys can go talk to me now. You can go to Wizio. It's down in the description. Click there. You can go in. Any question you have, any problem, whatever you want. And you can book me. And I'll personally answer, and it's not public. It's just between you and I. And I can help guide you, but you must be diligent every single day. Are you ready for this? Write down your future and know that no matter what's happening out there, it is part of the change that's taking you to the higher future. What's happening out there is the transition of the new earth. It is actually taking us to the higher one. If we'd have stayed where we were, we wouldn't be doing half the stuff we are, right? We wouldn't be seeking out that higher peaceful place or solutions. And this is how it works. So absolutely everything no longer is a threat to you. Everything that's happening out there doesn't mean that you are not going to have an amazing future. And everything that happens that you don't like, ask yourself, what's the solution and the lesson that I can learn from this? Because I'm going to achieve that future, and it exists now, but I must now transition into that person. So everything you do, your focus is transitioning into that person. If something comes along, then you ask yourself, why is it here? Me and my personal life, and how can I see it differently? And every time you see it different, and you don't see any problems anymore, you transition to a higher frequency reality. You no longer have problems anymore. Opportunities open up because now you're on a higher frequency, and all good things and people and all kinds of stuff and abundance and health and relationships are all going to start coming in because you're going to open up. You guys come on over and take one of my courses. Go into Manifest Anything. You'll get discounts on all my classes. We're going to start really working on this. Write it down. Nothing can stop you from getting it. I've beat the odds. You guys sign up here. Go listen to one of my mentors. He's got an amazing story, And people told him it was impossible. Wow, I guess that's your world then if you think that. It's not your world, is it? Come on over. You guys, please subscribe. Share these videos. You can post them absolutely anywhere. I have big goals for the future, and all my focus is 100% on that. How do I achieve it? How do I achieve it? Send it to me. I've got some really great videos coming up for you. One is the 4 mantras to help you get there. Only, I don't like the mantras and the vision boards and stuff. I want you to have the foundation for positive thinking and belief first, and then they work. That doesn't create your reality. You create your reality, and then you use the tools to get you there. All right, does this make sense? Steadfast. Nothing gets in your way. Nothing is a problem. Find all the solutions. Open up all the doors. That world you're experiencing is part of what you chose to come into, because you're going to be the catalyst for positive change, and your world is going to transform. You've got amazing things coming to you. I know this. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.